What's up, everybody, and welcome back to A Beer a Day with TK. It is an absolutely beautiful spring day here in Findlay, Ohio, and I'm hanging out in the beer shed getting ready to check out a new beer. Now, before I begin, I want to spend a special shout out to my daughter Katie, just graduated from Columbus College of Art and Design this past weekend, and is now moving on to the job market. For those of you who are interested in her artwork, she does have a YouTube channel. If you look it up, it should be, I think it's under KDK or Takano. So I'll throw a link up into the corner. If you're interested in trying to see animated design and digital illustration, all that kind of stuff, she's got some really cool stuff on there. Definitely out of my area of expertise, but fair, I'll give her a shout out. While I was down there for the weekend in Columbus, Ohio, there's a number of magnificent breweries down there. I didn't really have a chance to hit as many as I would have liked for obvious reasons, but I did hit a few that I hadn't been to before, including Holy Trinity. I went to Combustion, which I just picked up a new sign here, replaced the Coors original one that I had there, and a couple of others. So, you know, even though it was a family time and I guess official business, I did have the opportunity to check out a few breweries. On the way home, I hit what's probably one of my favorite places to go to, which would be the Hofbräuhaus in Columbus. So for those of you who may be unaware, Hofbräuhaus is obviously from Germany, and there's a number of places in the U.S. that actually have Hofbräuhauses. They're really cool. They've got German food, they have German live music, and when you go in, it's kind of like the big beer hall style seating. When I go through there, I love to try to stop on the way home, have some lunch, and grab a beer before I head back. So I did pick up a couple crowlers to go, and as it was May, I picked up the Maibock. This was a seasonal. So what's kind of neat is if you go to the back of the cans, when you get these crowlers, it'll tell you each month what they have. So they kind of have what they call the classic beers, which is the original lager, the dunkel, and the Heffy. So I had a lager with my food, and then I got a crowler of the Heffy that I drank last night. But then depending on the month, there's other offerings here. So January is a Schwarzbier, February a Doppel, March the Märzen, you know, etc. So a lot of different things going on. So this one is seasonal, and it was just filled yesterday, so this has only been in the can for 24 hours. And I'm going to go with my Hofbräuhaus Columbus glass, as it seems appropriate. Now, let's see, ratings-wise. So the stats on this is a 7.2% ABV, 31 IBUs. Does pretty well on the beer app. So Untappd a 3.61, Beer Advocate a 3.9. So Untappd 3.61, Beer Advocate 3.9, and 87 very good overall. If you see that in the glass, I always think they look magnificent in these big glasses. Color on this, if I'm holding this up, definitely kind of like a reddish caramelly type hue to it. Looks really nice. The head, it's kind of like a khaki colored. Obviously, it's in this big liter glass, so ideally I would have liked the foam to start here. I got a little bit more than I expected. A couple fingers worth of khaki head up on there. Smell is nice. Let me just note this. I have had a sinus infection for about 2 months. I've been on steroids and antibiotics, and it's finally clearing me up. I can smell and taste everything better than I have in, I don't know, ages. So it's really refreshing to try these beers with all of my senses working properly. The nose is kind of bready, bit sweet, as I've just inhaled it. Yeah, it smells pretty good. Honestly, the smell almost reminds me of the Märzen, very similar. I guess the malt smell or yeah, I guess the scent smells very similar. Let's give it a taste. Here we go. Prost! Body, medium body on it. It's pretty decent. I think this works perfectly for the weather and time of year. As to the flavors, there's a couple of different things going on here. If you were to ask me what I think this tastes like, I would probably say this tastes like their Märzen, but hopped up. Okay, so I think you get kind of like that sweet, bready, kind of malt characteristic, but it's more like a dark bread. Some of the other stuff is more like honey or lighter breads. I think this is kind of darker, maybe like a black bread kind of taste. Tiny bit of roastiness to it. You definitely get a little bit of sweetness to it, but at the end you get the hops. That's where they kick in. And I would say this, I think they're just kind of like bittering hops, maybe a little bit of an earthy taste to it, but it's not super hopped up or anything like that. But it does counterbalance the sweetness of the malt pretty nicely. So a pretty well balanced beer, I would say. trying to think if there's anything else popping up that, that I'm not thinking of. I mean, it's a pretty basic beer, and you don't have tons of different things going on. You kind of have the nice sweetness, a little bit of the bitterness, maybe a little bit of earthiness, and it works fairly well. And again, I know when you look at these calendars and all the German beers, a lot of this stuff is designed with, the ingredients and when these things are being made in mind, right? So you might want certain beers for colder months or warmer months, or depending on what grains are available. And I think this is a perfect release here for this time of year, and I'm thrilled to be able to try it. So for me, Hofbräuhaus, the Maibock. I know it's Hofbräuhaus München, but this is Hofbräuhaus Columbus. Big thumbs up. I love this one. I'd like to have a few more of these. Hopefully you like the video. If you do, give me a thumbs up. Hit that like button. If you want to see more videos like this, please hit subscribe. And as always, you got any comments or questions, jump in down below. Hey, just one quick thing. I'm trying to inch closer and closer to that 1,000 mark for subs. I think I'm around 770. So if you watch the channel and it's not a big hassle, if you can hit subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. Hey, till next time. Prost!